All right, next witness.
Dr. Ann Shufflebarger is our next witness.
Get you stand right here, face the clerk, raise your right hand.
Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Have a seat up here.
Over here. Watch your steps. Stand down.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you go ahead and state your full name, introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Ann Shufflebarger.
And Ann Shufflebarger, are you a Dr. Ann Shufflebarger?
I am.
All right, and you are a doctor in what?
Education.
Thank you. Dr. Shufflebarger, I'm going to show you a little roadmap. It's just going to tell us what we're going to be talking about with you today. We can go to the IPVO. I want to talk to you first, if we can publish it, read, about your personal professional experience. Then we're going to talk about case retention. In other words, why are you here today to talk to us? And then I want to talk to you about your findings and observations in your professional experience.
Okay.
And so there's enough context. You have reviewed materials and come to findings and observations based upon your review of those materials.
Correct.
And that's specific to the events at Rich Neck Elementary, January 6th.
Correct.
We'll get to those kind of near the end.
Okay.
So first, tell us why you're here in terms of your background.
Okay. I have 38 years of experience working in public schools. I have been a first grade teacher, a reading specialist, worked in central office with both reading programs and overseeing school administration, and then I've been a building administrator, principal, and assistant principal over all in Virginia Beach. And when I have retired, but since then I do part-time work, fill in when principals are out.
And so there's been a term used during the case about wearing different hats. You know generally what that means?
Yes.
So you've kind of worn all the hats, or a lot of the hats that people are going to be talking about in this case. You were a first grade teacher like Miss Z.
Correct.
You were a reading specialist like Miss Kovac. Is that a yes?
That's a yes.
Just for him, sorry. You have been an assistant principal like Dr. Parker.
Correct.
And remind me, have you been a principal?
Yes, I was a principal.
All right. Besides the earlier argued objections, which are incorporated herein, any other objections at this time?
No, Your Honor, just a continuing objection based on the earlier arguments.
All right, very well.
They're on the record.
All right, thank you. I will qualify her as an expert in those areas.
Your Honor, yesterday there was another expert qualified, but I don't believe we've informed the jury what that means necessarily. Can we do that so that they can understand the context of why we might be asking their opinions? as compared to others, or do you do that at the end?
We can do that at the end.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Dr. Shufflebarger, when we hired you to come and offer your opinions and findings.
Correct.
And when I say we on behalf of Ms. Zwerner, is that correct?
Correct.
And we hired you, and you're being paid for your time in reviewing the materials and being here today. Is that right?
Correct.
I hope we're paying you fair.
Very fair.
Okay. So in your review of the materials, did you ultimately come to findings and observations that you particularly pointed out as it relates to the actions or inactions taken by Dr. Parker on January 6th?
I did.
I want to talk to you. We've heard evidence so far in this case that there was a moment in time in which there was an initial information or sharing of information about a gun or a weapon at Rich Neck Elementary. Are you following where I'm going?
Yes.
And that was revealed
Your
in
Honor,
the...
object to the leading.
All right. If you can ask open-ended questions. Well,
Yes.
Technically, they are leading, so I'll sustain that.
Yes, Your Honor. What findings and observations did you come to as a review of your materials related to the first incidents of information conveyed to Dr. Parker?
My findings were that Dr. Parker did not take action that I think an assistant principal should have taken at that time.
And when you say should have taken at that time, tell us, in your opinion and in your experience, what actions we're talking about.
When an administrator receives a report of a suspected weapon, I was trained, and it's written out in most policies and procedures handbooks, that an administrator is to take it as a credible threat until you assess the situation and find otherwise. And so when a teacher came and reported that students said that a student had a gun, and it was a student who an hour earlier there had been reports that he was having difficulty and was threatening students at lunch, action should have been taken at that time.
And is it do you have an opinion as to whether that action, lack of action, in your review of the materials, did it stop there? In other words, was that the last time that there was interaction with Dr. Parker about a weapon on campus?
From my reading of reports throughout the day, depositions and timelines and different things, it appears one more opportunity.
Moment, right? And there's been evidence, so we don't need to get into what that is particularly. But that second moment, you say there's 4. What's your view as an administrator in that context, in Dr. Parker's situation, in terms of getting a second notice of a firearm on campus?
Hearing it the first time and not taking action, I don't know, what individuals were thinking at that time. But when it comes back up again, check the book bag, it's not there, but I'm getting reports that he has something in his pockets. That to me is a huge red flag. Take action. Get the kid secured. Search, call law enforcement, alert the principal. There are many things that needed to be done, and none of those were done at that time.
And Dr. Shufflebarger, I mean, we're talking about Dr. Parker's actions, but none of the other teachers called 911.
There's a chain of command in a school, and there are usually policies and procedures that guide that. Teachers are taught, report to an administrator. Administrators are the leaders and are trained to take care of that. And it's my understanding that teachers did report it. Several teachers did talk to her about that. And, there's even a handbook provided by Rich. Can I mention that? staff handbook for Rich Neck Elementary.
We've talked. We can hear the objection.
Objection, Your Honor, that's the exhibit that was provided late and outside of discovery.
And that is a continuing objection.
Yes, my understanding the court has not ruled on that.
I thought we were going to go ahead and allow her now that the foundation's been set, or did I misunderstand what you thought we were going to do?
I think maybe I misunderstand what we were going to do on that, because that has not been discussed.
This is exhibit.
And it's also beyond the scope of her designation. It was not, she submitted a report, and under the caim rule, she's limited to the four corners of her report. She did not review that document, and it was not discussed in her report. I have a copy of her designation if the court would like to look at it.
I have that.
Your Honor, I think I can cure concerns and streamline some efficiency.
So you're going to withdraw the question?
I'm not going to withdraw the question
Well,
because she hasn't really. I invited the objection preemptively because I saw Ms. Douglas out of the peripheral, and so I don't think that there's actually objectionable testimony that's been provided thus far. I would just
At
ask.
this point, she's actually asked you a question.
That's right, and so I'd like to just continue the questioning in the event that we are going anywhere that counsel doesn't think we ought to go. We can of course take it up, but this is Exhibit 108, I think in particular, that we're talking about, that Your Honor permitted questioning as it relates to Mr. Sims yesterday, and so it has been taken up by the court. But ultimately, I think we can roll through this and get through it.
So the answer to your question at this point is no.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So, Dr. Shufflebarger, in review of the materials that you've been provided, are there different hats that people wear in the world of administrating school and education system?
Yes, definitely.
And the hat of the assistant principal, the administrator responsible for a crisis management plan, you following?
Correct.
Was that the hat that, in your review of the materials, that Dr. Parker was wearing?
Yes.
And in your review of the materials, when that person wearing that hat has received the second notice of information as it relates to a firearm campus, what's your opinion as to how, if at all, she responded or what her actions amounted to at that time?
From the things that I read, no action was taken. There was discussion about him putting it in his pockets and the size of the pockets, but no action was taken.
And from your perspective and in your expert opinion as a former administrator wearing that hat, what's your view and observation of what that amounts to? Is that's
failure to act in the course of safety for the school. That's endangers folks. When you hear something like that, I know I said it before, you're expected to take it credibly. Here's a second report that people think the student has a gun. Action needed to be taken to prevent possible safety issues.
And in your opinion, is that action should have been taken by Dr. Parker?
Yes.
And was that the last time, in your review of the materials, that Dr. Parker was informed of a threat of a firearm on campus?
No, it was not. There was a third time involving a phone call between Mrs. West, who was a first grade teacher, and Mr. Sims, who was answering phones in the office. I know, depending on different things that I read.
And we don't have to get into,
Okay.
because the jury's already heard them
Okay.
testify. We don't.
But there was a phone conversation, and Mrs. West asked, had the student been searched? Or had the book bag been searched?
Right.
I'm sorry, had the book bag been searched?
And so in your review of the materials, there was sort of a third moment in time in which Dr. Parker was faced with a decision or a choice?
Yes.
And in your opinion, as an administrator and as an educator in this field, how do you characterize her response? Did that meet the standard? Did that breach
No,
the
it
standard?
did. It breached the standard of care and of job responsibility.
And was that the last time, based upon your review of the materials?
No, there was a fourth time when two different teachers were at her office talking about a first grade student reporting that he had seen something and more concerns. And those staff members took it upon themselves to ask if they could check his person, check the student's person. And they were told, no, mom's coming in a little bit. No, we don't need to check at that time. And in my mind, that's quite a bit of inappropriateness, of a failure to act, because here comes more concern, more discussion, another report, and no action taken, and stopping others from taking action.
And so if we were to separate those moments in time, Dr. Shufflebarger, in your opinion, and we were just talking about an initial report earlier in the day that you talked about, number one, is it your opinion that that and that alone and the failure to act under that circumstance breached the standard?
Yes.
And if we didn't even have that, and we're talking about the second moment in time, and if that was all that you had reviewed, is it your view that that and that alone would have been enough for her to fall below the standard?
Object
Yes.
to the leading, Your Honor.
All right.
Guiding
It is
the test.
technically leading. I'll just ask you to rephrase.
Yes.
Now, were you on the second? I know you asked her about the first.
Yes.
This is the second incident that you're on at this point?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
And as to the third and fourth,
I feel like each time it's brought up again, another person has shared concern, another student has shared that he's scared because of the conversation about it. When you look at that in totality, it's almost shocking, the lack of action there, how things were not followed up on. It really does breach the standard of care.
Dr. Shufflebarger, are all the opinions and conclusions that you've provided held within a reasonable degree of your expertise and profession?
Yes.
Those are all the questions I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, any cross-examination questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Hello, Dr. Shufflebarger.
Hello.
Your tenure in the Virginia Beach public school system was entirely in education, correct?
Correct.
40 years?
35 full-time, 3 part-time.
So about 40 years?
Yes.
And you retired in 2022?
Correct.
In those almost 40 years, you never once had a elementary school student bring a loaded gun into the school, did you?
No, I did not.
And Dr. Shufflebarger, you agree that an assistant principal of the school is not solely responsible for school safety, correct?
No,
It's a team approach.
correct.
And it also involves the teachers in the classroom, correct?
Correct. The assistant principal is the leader of that team.
And the principal's involved as well, correct?
Correct.
And the teacher in the classroom is actually the first line responder. You've heard that term before.
Yes.
Now, you've seen in the materials that you've read related to the case that Dr. Parker was involved with standardized testing that day,
Correct.
and there are strict rules that govern standardized testing, correct?
Yes.
And the assistant principal is the school testing coordinator,
Generally so, yes.
and the assistant principal is responsible for setting up the secure environment for the testing,
Correct.
and these tests are given online,
Yes.
and it involves the assistant principal being at her computer
To get things started, yes.
and throughout the testing
Checking
process.
in on it throughout the day. It doesn't require being at the computer all day.
But it requires being at the computer a fair amount
Certain times, yes.
because of the security of the testing tickets, correct?
Right, but an administrator can leave the office as long as they are locked up and secured so that other people cannot get to the testing tickets.
Understood. And this was going on concurrently on January 6th, correct?
Correct.
And there were other discipline issues going on
Yes.
January 6th. You read about those?
Yes, I have.
And Dr. Parker had to interject and get herself involved in those situations. You read that?
Correct, yes.
And that's in addition to wearing all the other hats that an assistant principal wears.
Yes,
And I think you agree with me that an assistant principal wears a lot of hats
I do agree with you.
in a
on that.
management of an elementary school. You agree with that? Now, you told the jury about what Dr. Parker didn't do. You would agree that an assistant principal must use his or her judgment or discretion in determining whether reports about a student are credible.
But part of that involves assuming credibility and checking to see if it is indeed. You're to assume credibility until you check and assess to find otherwise.
Until evidence tells you otherwise.
Correct.
Okay, but that does involve the use of judgment and discretion. You would agree with
Yes,
that?
I would agree with that.
Okay. And the assistant principal can't be everywhere all the time, correct?
Correct.
And the assistant principal has to rely on other staff members and other teachers in determining whether reports are credible, correct?
To some degree, yes.
And you would agree that the first report that Dr. Parker received regarding JT was from Ms. Kovac?
Yes.
And Ms. Kovac investigated those reports before she went to see Dr. Parker, didn't she?
Correct.
Ms. Kovac is a seasoned educator, isn't she?
Yes.
Over 30 years.
Yes.
And she worked with JT daily.
Yes.
She knew him well.
Yes.
And Ms. Kovac stayed in the room with Ms. Zwerner and her class for a while to investigate the reports about whether JT might have a weapon.
Yes.
And Ms. Zwerner was also in the room while this was going on. You read that?
Yes.
They were the first line responders to the reports about JT having a weapon, correct?
Correct. First line responders as teachers are to report it to administration.
Right, but that's a different question. I'm
Okay.
asking you if Ms. Kovac and Ms. Zwerner, who were in the room when this happened, were the first line responders to the information reported by the two students.
Karen, I'm just going to object to preserve our motion in limine regarding argument as it relates to duties owed by individuals who are not the defendant in this action. I think we're venturing into an area of asking what is an obligation there, which Your Honor has ruled is not an issue for the court and has not been pled.
Your objection is noted, and it's, made contemporaneous, but I don't think we're into the grounds that I have ruled yet that are inappropriate. All right, go ahead.
See, so you would agree, you read in the materials that Ms. Zwerner and Ms. Kovac were in the room with a student.
Correct.
Ms. Kovac did not confiscate JT's backpack.
She did not at the time that he was in the room.
Ms. Kovac did not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question?
Ms. Kovac, the reading specialist, just like you, she did not confiscate JT's backpack after her investigation, correct?
Correct.
She did not remove JT from the room.
She did not.
And Ms. Zwerner did not confiscate JT's backpack, did she?
No.
And Ms. Zwerner did not remove JT from the room.
No.
And she had removed him from the room a couple days before when he had thrown her cell phone, correct?
I don't know about that. I have not reviewed that recently.
You haven't reviewed it recently?
I can't speak to that right now.
Can't speak to it right now. At that time, Ms. Kovac went to talk to Dr. Parker, correct?
Correct.
And at that time, Dr. Parker would have learned that JT had been permitted to go on the playground with the other students.
My understanding is that when she went down to the office, they were getting ready to go to recess. And she said that she would go back and check the backpack when they went out.
Right.
So I don't know the exact, was she there when he went out or did she leave the room before? I don't know the answer to that.
My question is different.
Okay, thank you.
Based on what you read, when Ms. Kovac went back to Dr. Parker's office to report on her investigation, you read that
after
she
the
would
backpack.
have known that that Ms. Kovac had investigated, chose not to remove him from the classroom, correct?
Yes.
Chose not to confiscate the backpack,
Yes.
and that he was off to the playground with the other first grade students.
Yes.
And would you agree that that is information that tends to disprove that there's a credible threat?
No, I would not agree.
Would not agree with that. Now, Ms. Kovac goes to speak with Dr. Parker and at some point searches the backpack.
Yes.
And that was based on a discussion between Dr. Parker and Ms. Kovac, that the backpack would be searched.
Yes.
And then there were some other conversations that you talked about that day to Dr. Parker, correct?
Correct.
But you were not there for those conversations. You have no way of knowing what information anyone specifically conveyed to Dr. Parker.
That's correct.
But what we do know is some of their actions that day. You do know that, correct?
Okay.
And then you told the jury that there were 2 staff members. That was the last opportunity for Dr. Parker. The 2 staff members, and they were teachers, I believe is what you said.
Yes.
Do you recall that being Mr. Rawls, the guidance counselor?
Yes.
And he wasn't a teacher, was he?
Okay, that's an instructional position, but it is different from a teacher. You're
was a
correct.
guidance
He was a
counselor.
guidance
He was
counselor.
on the threat assessment team,
Okay,
right? And you read Mr. Rawls' deposition.
I did.
And you read that he had not determined it to be a credible threat when he spoke to Dr. Parker about searching JT, correct?
That's what I read, yes.
Okay. And he spoke with Dr. Parker about searching little 6-year-old JT, and he not sure about what was said that day, but Dr. Parker didn't refuse that JT be searched. She just wanted to wait till his mother got there to go through the rest of his things. That's what you read, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's talk about student searches.
Okay.
You would agree that the decision whether to search a student is a judgment call for an administrator to make based on the information known at the time.
Correct.
Age is a factor in determining whether to body search a 6-year-old, right?
Age and a lot of other things are a factor.
Sex of a student is a factor, correct?
Correct.
And you want to handle the student with as much dignity as possible so that you don't upset them, correct?
Absolutely.
You must also consider legal issues involving right to privacy.
Correct.
And during your tenure in the Virginia Beach public school system, it was preferred that a parent be present for a body search of a student.
Yes.
And here, Dr. Parker did not deny Mr. Rawls searching the student, but wanted to wait for the mother to get there because she was coming soon. Correct?
That is what I read that she said.
You were answered a few questions about Newport News procedures and documents, but you were in Virginia Beach, correct?
Correct.
You don't know anything about training in Newport News on any documents that they have.
The only things I read, there was a multi-crisis handbook that I read about Newport News procedures and the Rich Neck handbook, and I don't know if I can discuss either of those.
But you don't know how training is done
No.
in Newport News.
No,
and you don't
you're
know
correct.
how Dr. Parker was trained
You're
about
correct.
those documents.
Yes.
Dr. Shufflebarger, you came to be an expert in this case with Mr. Bright's sister-in-law, correct?
Correct.
You'd never been an expert before. You've never sat on the witness stand as an expert witness, have you?
No, ma'am.
And you're charging $500 an hour to sit here today, correct?
Correct.
And at the time you reviewed this case, you knew about the outcome at Rich Neck Elementary School on January 6th, didn't you?
I did.
You knew the outcome. And you yourself agree that it's unfair to judge someone's conduct with 20/20 hindsight vision, correct? You agree with that.
I can see that, yes.
And you agree that Dr. Parker, in evaluating information regarding a 6-year-old having a loaded gun at school, something that never happened to you, she did not know the outcome that day, correct?
Correct.
I have no further questions.
Redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Dr. Shufflebarger, there was a question about standardized testing at the beginning of the cross-examination. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And I think the question was, you have the obligation of the assistant principal is to secure an environment for testing. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Can you imagine a circumstance that jeopardizes a secure and safe environment for testing more than having a firearm on campus?
No.
And you were also asked about other disciplinary events that were taking place at the school.
Yes.
And so it's your observation, I think, that Dr. Parker was attending to some things on campus
Yes.
and not the firearm.
Correct.
Is there anything in an administrator's life that is more important than understanding and determining the validity of a threat of a firearm on campus?
I can't think of anything that would be. Being a building administrator is a hard job. You talked about wearing lots of hats, and absolutely administrators wear lots of hats and have to handle things that happen quickly. You may have a plan, I'm going to do this today, and you never get to it because it's almost like a triage situation. You have to determine what's more important, what is more urgent at this time. And a report of a firearm stops everything. You stop, you investigate, determine if it's credible, and then you can move on with your day if it's found not to be.
And you were asked about investigating. I think you were asked about Ms. Kovac's investigation. Do you recall that question?
Yes,
Whose job was it to actually do the investigation?
an administrator.
Dr. Parker.
Dr. Parker was the one it was reported to.
Whose job was it to actually confiscate the backpack?
Dr. Parker's.
Whose job was it to secure the child?
Dr. Parker.
This is beyond the scope of her designation. None of this is designated for her testimony.
I'm going to overrule that.
Whose job was it to contact law enforcement?
Dr. Parker.
Whose job was it to search the person?
Dr. Parker.
And there was a question about the dignity of a child, a 6-year-old child.
Correct.
Recognizing the dignity of a child, is the dignity of a child more important than the safety of the individuals on campus when there's a report of a firearm?
I think you can manage both. You can handle all the things need to be handled with the student who potentially has a weapon in a dignified way and protect the privacy and the dignity of the child in a way that other children don't see it. But you can't ignore it, and we should not ignore it.
You got to get to the bottom of it.
Yes.
And
find
Dr.
out.
Parker never got to the bottom of it.
No.
Thank you.
Briefly on that.
Follow up. You just testified that a report of a firearm stops everything, correct?
Yes.
Stops everything for everyone in an elementary school.
For the administrator who receives the report, they need to kind of stop what they're doing and handle that report right away.
So you're telling this jury that the report of a firearm in a school stops everything for the administrator, but the teacher, the first line responders can go about their business. That's what you've come in and telling this jury.
And argumentative.
Overruled.
That's
I'm saying it's the assistant principal's job to stop and take care of it. Their job is to report, and the assistant principal's job is to act.
You would agree that other individuals involved did not stop everything that day, correct?
No.
Ms. Kovac didn't stop everything, Ms. Zwerner didn't stop everything, Ms. West didn't stop everything, and Mr. Rawls didn't stop everything, did they?
No.
No further questions.
Thank you. All right. Is she going to be needed to testify again?
Not from us, Your Honor.
All right.
I don't think she's under subpoena from the defense, so she should be.
So may she be excused?
She may be.
All right. You are excused. Thank you for your testimony today. Because this is an ongoing case, please do not discuss your testimony with anyone.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. All right. You may be excused.